Good afternoon, Keith Tebow, FRCmedia. Thank you for joining us today. The city of Fall River has always been involved with expanding arts and culture, and there are a number of organizations that have been involved and really are key players throughout the city to help foster arts and culture. But recently, the One South Coast Chamber has led an effort to create the Fall River Arts and Culture Coalition, which will look to bring a lot of partners together and organize the growth of arts and culture here in the city. And we're going to talk about that today. I'm pleased to be joined by a number of individuals. At the top is Devin Torres. She's a coordinator with the Fall River Arts and Culture Coalition. In the middle, someone we've seen quite often, the co-CEO of the One South Coast Chamber, Michael O'Sullivan. And on the bottom, I sound like I'm Hollywood Squares, if you remember that show. Julie Gagliardi, who is from BAICOs Bank, and BAICOs is one of the sponsors of the Fall River Arts and Culture Coalition. So thank you all for joining me today. How are you?
Happy to be here.
Very happy to be here, Keith.
Mike, let's start with you. This has been something that has sort of been spearheaded by the Chamber. Talk a little bit about how the coalition got started and maybe its impacts potentially on business growth within Fall River.
Well, Keith, the coalition got started. It'll be almost 2 years now, but the coalition got started by a couple of our larger members in the chamber who just felt that something needed to be done to help build the arts and culture and help people collaborate and help really build just a better organization. And really just be able to try to help build arts and culture and as part of economic development in the city. It's we've got a lot of artists, we've got a lot of we get the Battleship, we have the Narrows, and we have the Children's Museum as just three examples of great organizations in the city. And the idea was to just really help everybody collaborate much more. And bring everybody together, which we've been able to do. COVID had slowed things down a little bit, but a year ago we had on a regular basis at least 40 members coming to a monthly meeting to just talk about collaboration. And we've raised money as part of a public-private and philanthropic partnership to hire Civic Moxie, to hire Devin, to be able to really start to work on what's the best way to make this happen, and we're very excited by it.
Talk a little bit, Mike, a little bit about how this could, if as the growth continues and the city makes an investment in arts and culture. Talk a little bit about how the city has been involved, maybe even city government and some other partners, and how, again, this could benefit maybe growth of business opportunities within Fall River.
Well, the arts and culture community really has always been a big part in any city like Fall River you go to, is always an important part of the city. It helps drive business for restaurants. We're talking about organizations like the Little Theater of Fall River. When they put on shows to people, people may go out to dinner first. Shows that the Narrows affects the restaurants, that type of thing. So it's an important part of the economic development in the city, and the city itself, especially since Mayor Coogan came on board, the city has been a really important player in this, and their cooperation and their willingness to really want us to succeed with this has been fantastic. And we've also gotten great support from our local delegation, Senator Rodericks, Representative Fiola, Representative Sylvia, Representative Schmid. They've all been really great as well.
I want to bring in Julie now from BAICOs Bank. BAICOs, of course, is one of those members, as you said, Mike, of those public-private partnership that's helping out. Julie, talk about what BAICOs' role is and how it views the importance of fostering and growing the arts here in Fall River.
Yeah, well, I think from the beginning, we've seen arts and culture as another primary economic driver. You know, we've done a lot of partnering with area organizations throughout the South Coast, including the Chamber, with respect to education, because we think that's really important. But we also see a big connection with arts and culture. We see how the downtown New Bedford area has really been invigorated through arts and culture. And we want to kind of foster that same opportunity here in Fall River. And so what we were noticing, I have to give kudos to the South Coast Community Foundation under the leadership of John Vasconcellos. They were one of the key organizations in the South Coast that brought outside funding through the Barr Foundation. Now, I'm thinking it's been about 2 years ago. Some significant funding, millions of dollars, into the South Coast to really infuse arts and culture and get it on the right path to kind of flourish and develop. And what we noticed back then was that New Bedford was far better poised to take advantage of that funding opportunity. And so part of the reason we created FRAC, and that is chaired by Kathy Castro, who's a member of the Massachusetts Cultural Council, and Nick Christ at BAICOs Bank. They founded it with the idea of bringing everyone together around the same table so that we could collaborate more within our arts and culture community, and we could take advantage of those new funding opportunities and see where we could work together. And so far, as Mike said, it's worked out really well. I mean, we've gotten some funding, and we've hired Devin to be our coordinator, and we've hired Civic Moxie to lay out a very strategic plan for how do we develop the arts and culture economy in Fall River.
Yeah. I want to get into that now. Let's bring in Devin, the coordinator for the Fall River Arts and Culture Coalition. Now, Devin, I believe it was back in November when it was announced that the city would be undergoing an arts and culture sort of master plan with the group Civic Moxie. First of all, talk about how that's been going, and again, lay out the timeline in terms of what we can expect in any results in terms of a plan.
Sure. So right now we're working with the consultants over at Civic Moxie to create a long-term arts and culture plan for the city of Fall River. Right now we're still in the research phase with Civic Moxie, so they're collecting all of the assets in Fall River, reaching out to stakeholders, and we're trying to organize focus groups with community members to get a sense of what the city needs, what feedback we're receiving, where are there opportunities for growth, where are there opportunities for change, what changes would you like to see in the city? So we're in that phase right now, and we're hopefully going to be moving into the development stage by mid-February to early March.
So what will be expected in terms of maybe a potential plan? I believe when this was announced, it was going to be maybe about 10 months or so. Is that still the timeline to get some sort of plan in place for review later on, maybe in the summer?
Yeah, so right now, once we can collect all that data and get the feedback from the community, we'll be in the development stage of the plan and putting, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. Mike, you want to jump in terms of what the timeline is?
Keith, the plan is still for 10 months, and
okay.
It might turn out to be 11, but
sure.
Right now the plan is still for 10 months. We're still working very hard on that, and we're in the process. It's as Devin said, Civic Moxie's working on focus groups. They're in the process of doing many individual interviews. We're going to have a public meeting towards the end of February. In the next few days, we should make an announcement about that, the date, the time. It's because we really want to get people's feedback. Civic Moxie is they've been doing a great job with us and helping us get through the process. But the important thing is that this is not Civic Moxie's plan. This is going to be Fall River's plan, and we need people from Fall River to jump in and help us and tell us what they think and tell us what they like and don't like about the way things operate and the way the city conducts itself as far as arts and culture. But it's not only arts and culture people that we want. We really need folks in the economic development sector. We need our elected officials. We need local businesses. We need big business. We need small business, restaurants. We need artists. We need people in the creative sector. We need not-for-profits. There's a lot of very successful not-for-profits, and these folks really see they see the variety of life in Fall River, and so we really need those folks to be able to tell us all the differences and bring us different perspectives. Just as I know you're aware, the neighborhoods are very strong in Fall River. We've got some great neighborhoods, great neighborhood associations, and we're starting to reach out to them to get their feedback, and we want to have their input, so we make sure that when this is really done, that the city can stand up and say, this is our plan, and this is the great way for us to go forward with arts and culture.
And I know that there are a couple events coming up in the next week or two that will, start, incorporate the activity at the council, at the coalition rather, with arts and culture. And I don't know who wants to talk about this. There's an event called Winter Bridge that's going to start next week. And then there's also, I believe, another activity in terms of decorating some windows downtown. Devin, you want to tackle that?
Sure. Yeah, I'll tackle this one. So right now we're putting up a winter placemaking project called Winter Bridge, and it's an outdoor community space in Gramada Plaza where we'll have safe, curated local programming to follow all of COVID guidelines. We're going to be having local programming and some giveaways. We'll have fire pits where you can sit down and relax and take in all of the sights of downtown. And we'll also have some local vendors and outdoor activities in that space. One of the first initiatives for the Winter Bridge program is a window display competition, downtown window display competition. And we are sending out call for artists and call for business to participate in this. We're hoping that we can get some local artists to create some installations for these local businesses and drive some traffic to those locations.
Now, in terms of the Winter Bridge, that's, I believe, going to be taking place over a period of a few weeks, right? Beginning, I believe, next Friday, the 12th. Devin, give us the timeline on how that's going to work.
Sure. So it'll begin next Friday, the 12th. So on Fridays from 3 to 5 and Saturday mornings from 9 to 11, we'll have that programming space open, and we'll be doing that for about 6 weeks in that space.
And that'll be good. Hopefully by the end of it, it'll get a little warmer for people to take part. I know. And in terms of the contest, in terms of the winter displays, I believe that's a little shorter. I believe even this Friday is a deadline in terms of getting some artist interest, or has that been extended? What's the timeline there?
Right now, the timeline is still to have the deadline be this Friday, February 5th. If we need to extend the deadline, I'm sure we will, so we can make sure every artist feels like they have a chance to submit their work and every business can get matched with the right artist for them. With that process, they'll have 2 weeks we'll have a judging committee with local community members deciding which artists and businesses will be paired together. And from there, they'll have 2 weeks to install their installations, and the community will have 2 weeks to cast their votes and vote for their favorite window display. And there'll be a first, second, and third place prize for the winning artist and business.
So in some ways, in terms of the window displays, excuse me, it'll be up downtown for quite some time for people to see.
Yes.
Correct. So probably again into March, probably.
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
Great. So it's exciting things. And let me just ask you, any plans in terms of other events as we head toward the spring, or is that still to be determined? Anyone can answer this one.
Yeah, Devin mentioned that we're going to have the storefront display contest, which will be big, but we're also kicking it off this coming weekend when it opens on the 12th and the 13th. We're going to have Coastal Food Shed come and have their farmers market there, their pickup for the first time in Fall River, which will be great. We're also partnering with a florist that will have some grab and go floral arrangements just in time for Valentine's Day. And we're bringing in the Children's Museum to have some grab and go activities for the kids too. So again, what we hope to do, that it's kicking off the weekend of February 12th, but we hope to have some set programming each and every week, as Devin said, on Friday afternoon and then also on Saturday morning.
So the best bet here is to have people, socially distanced, show up, see what's going on, and take advantage of some potentially exciting opportunities. Thanks to
We'll
the
be
Four
promoting
Arts.
these. Devin, there's a website, right, or a Facebook page where we'll be promoting these events.
Yeah, so there is a Facebook event page where we'll be promoting Winter Bridge events, and there'll be a calendar announcing what we have coming for each Friday and Saturday's programming.
All right. Sounds good. So Devin Torres, Michael O'Sullivan, Julie Gagliardi, thank you for joining me, and all the best. And we'll catch up soon on getting updates from the Four Arts and Culture Coalition. So I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank
Great.
you.
Thanks, Keith.
Yeah,
Thanks
thank
for
All right.
having us.
And thank you for joining us today here in FRC Media. I'm Keith Tebow. Have a great day.